number 8. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. Look at it. 8's good.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, Stuart.
Morning.
We're very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Stuart.
Yes.
And you will be number 8 on our Face Your project.
Okay, brilliant.
And
Very good.
we're proud to say that you're the 3rd Stuart that arrived.
Right. So
We had 2 stewards that had promised to come,
Yeah.
but they didn't show up.
Oh no. So I'm doing this for the pride of stewards everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. When I was little, there weren't really many stewards at all, but now they let all sorts of people be stewards, and the standard's gone down. So, yeah, it's nice to be here.
You are also an artist.
I am, yes. So, when I was little, I used to sort of draw on the walls and things, and my mum had to buy me drawing pads, just so I drew in those and not on the walls. And I've always enjoyed drawing, and at school I did very well with it. You know, those were my best qualifications for art. But then when I went I went on an art foundation course, which is like a year foundation course, and then you try out all kinds of different things to see what you're good at and what you like. And so I was still on the painting, drawing side of things, so I applied for a course in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is a long way up north, and that was a design and illustration course, so it was half graphic design and half illustration, and I was sort of thinking I was going to veer towards the illustration side of things, but as things went along, someone said to me, rightly or wrongly, that illustration is a very, very tough business, you know, and very, very few people get into it. And I had to think whether I was probably one person off the course could become an illustrator and make a living at it, and was I that one person? And I decided I perhaps wasn't. And so I went into graphic design and did that for a long time, which I sort of enjoyed, but it was never 100% me. I did it for 20 years or more.
And you were not self-employed in that time?
No, I wasn't. In that time I worked, at first I worked for an electrical distribution company, and they had a catalogue, and in their catalogue they did like pages on pressure cookers, pages on toasters and fuses, and so they'd pin on the wall a job bag, and you get this job bag down, and you had to, the original page might have 4 toasters on it, and you had to fit 2 more toasters on the page, just squishing it all up. So it's all very exciting stuff. And then I decided I had to get another job somewhere. And so just to sort of start the ball rolling, because I knew it would take a long time to get another job, just to start the ball rolling, I applied to one out in Kent. And it was a publishing job, so I thought, oh no, this is way above me, which is books, book publishing. So anyway, I wrote them a funny letter saying about, you know, my current job, how horrible it was, and that I had to keep designing pages for toasters and things. And luckily, the chap there wrote comedy sketches for a local drama group, and he really appreciated all this sort of humour I put in my letter, so he got me down. And I had an interview with him, and it was a really, really nice place, out in a little village. And as I got on the train after the interview, I thought, well, I'm never going to see this place again, and that's the place where I spent the rest of the year. So they employed me.
Oh, great.
And it was really nice because the subject-wise, we did animals and plants, and I like all that sort of thing. So it was very good. But it just got more and more complicated, and more jobs. Other people lost jobs, and those jobs came to me as computers came in.
Okay.
I would be setting all the typography, whereas someone else used to do that. And then I was sort of manipulating all the photographs and sort of putting those on the pages, whereas somebody else used to do that. So it just got very, very complicated for me, you know. You could make some very subtle mistakes, and so I was like constantly checking things, and it got quite stressful. So in the end, I moved up here, and I had a friend who works for an art charity, and his job was to set up art groups in areas where there wasn't as much work and things, and sort of seed them, and then the art groups would become established and run themselves, which he was very good at. but they also needed artists to go along and do tuition, so I went along and did that. And I wasn't sure A, if I'd enjoy it, or B, if I'd be any good at it, but I seem to be both. I do enjoy it, and I seem to be able to do it, so. It's nice actually, with an art group, everybody's an individual and everybody has their own needs in terms of how much skill they have or where they are in terms of skill, you know, whether they've just started or they've been going quite a while. And also different people, some people want you to compliment their paintings, you know, and say, yeah, that's nice, and would get upset if you said, well, that's not very good. But other people really want you to be honest. You know, if you go to them and say, oh no, it's really nice, they still look at you as if to say, you know it's not nice, and I know it's not nice. And they'd rather you said that. So like as you arrive at the new person, you've got to sort of make a quick assessment of what their mood is, how things are going, which I really enjoy. It's a nice process. And I think I get it right more than I get it wrong. Well, I know I do. So it's very enjoyable. And people improve without you, because I've been working with people for a long time, they improve without me realising it. So they'll come in and you'll think, yeah, they're not particularly skilled, you know, at painting and drawing. And then as years go by, you suddenly realise they're doing things, really, really nice paintings, you know, and you think, gosh. And then when you get new people in, you think, oh yeah, this is how these people were when they first started, you know, they sort of don't know what they're doing and things. We work in watercolour very often, and watercolour is a bit like almost learning to play the piano or something like that, where you can't play good tunes to start with because you don't know what you're doing, and you have to actually learn the piano and the techniques of it, and then you can play music, you know. And watercolour's a bit like that. You've got to learn how much paint and how much water and what's going to happen if you do this and what's going to happen if you can do that. And so, yeah,
it's fascinating.
It is, yeah.
I like watercolour. Really.
Yeah, I do. I didn't do it to start with, but I've really got more and more into it. I learn as well as I'm teaching other people. That's
the other side.
It is, yeah. I do pick up little bits and pieces from people as well. You know, I'll sometimes say to them, right, we're going to do this painting, whatever you do, don't do it this way, you know, and then like somebody will do it that way and they'll do it brilliantly. It's almost like a rule, you know, if I tell them not to do something, someone will do it and it'll work really, really well. So, and it's fascinating, and different people have different talents. I was brought up to be realistic and to do things from observation, and but watercolour isn't really completely like that. You can't just sit there and say, I'm going to do every leaf on this tree, because it just gets murkier and murkier. It's an interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that I find fascinating, and that I do slip back into. Well, I'm just going to put a bit more detail into this hedge there, and I shouldn't do it. And the best watercolour artists can just do like a few little paint marks and things, and you know it's the hedge, but it also is very fresh. So, yeah, it's very good. And I have a lady who's very good with colour. She always teases me because if I do doing a green, because England is very green, I think Europe is very green in general. So you can end up with just green, kind of green trees and all sorts. And so she teases me because I use green all the time. But she'll just change a tree to yellow ochre or orange, or you know, well, yeah, that works. You know, she'll just go completely different colour. So I'm trying to do that, and I do from time to time. So.
And isn't it that beginners, they just in the beginning, because they don't have any idea about the technique, sometimes they create wonderful things that nobody else has done before.
Yes, and definitely. And
the more you get into the techniques, the more you get stuck into one direction.
That's true, actually. Yes, that is true. Yeah. There's some people have like a natural style, a natural naivety, or And some people I've encountered have beautiful, they would have been, if someone had picked them up at an early age, they would have been illustrators because they have just such a beautiful style of painting, just naturally the way they move their hand, you know. So yes, you're perhaps right that you can sort of be funneled in one direction, and perhaps sort of tutors tend to do that, you know, sort of steer people in one direction. And you do get, like you say, you get some beautiful things. We did one painting of a vineyard, and we were using sort of pens, ink pens. And one lady had an ink, they're all supposed to be waterproof. So one lady had an ink pen and it wasn't waterproof at all. So she'd sort of draw it and go, all the light, but it was beautiful. What she did in the end was beautiful. So, yeah, you can't. No, that's it. Yeah. And it's lovely that it's really nice when everybody in a group is just enjoying doing it and enjoying seeing each other's paintings and chatting together, and you know, it's a lovely thing. Yeah, that's very nice.
And how's the education in school? How's art taught in school? How was it when you were brought up, and how is it today? Do you have any?
Yes, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, it's quite sort of rudimentary, isn't it? Where I was brought up, it was quite rudimentary, and I suppose you can't really get into the finer things. It probably is a lot better now, I would think. I think people can do some amazing things, and they can do amazing things on tablets, you know, and stuff like that. So, but back in my day, it was poster paints and powdered paints, and you know, you were just doing very crude paintings and drawings. Although I did, oh yes, when I was at school in, was it sixth form? No, it wasn't sixth form. It was before I went to sixth form, which is like late teens. Just before then, I was at a school, and the art tutor wrote me a little pass that said, "Please excuse Stuart from this lesson. He has an important art project to do." And so I could just show this to any other class and say, "Oh, sorry, I've got this important art project to do. My art teacher signed it." So I could go off and do art. Whether that helped my other qualifications, I don't know, but that was good. And he was very impressed because one time I was coming to school and I found an old rusty wheelbarrow in a ditch, and it was like all beaten in and completely rusty. And I wheeled the wheelbarrow all the way to school and said I wanted to paint it. So we put it up on some tables and I painted it.
Yeah, you can.
He wants to read the meter, electric meter.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We thought it was a spectator.
Yes. Also, there's a whole other area back there by the looks of it.
Yes, it's a church.
Oh, right.
I haven't been there.
Oh, no, I haven't. Lovely. Well, I knew there would be a church around here somewhere, but
yes,
I didn't realise it was actually connected.
It was built 1838.
Really?
Yes.
I think I came to that side of the building first, and it looked a lot older than yeah. I mean, this is all very nice here, isn't it?
This is being added.
Right. Yeah.
So you had an art teacher that liked your work.
Yes,
and
yes.
helped you to have yourself, how do you say, a good feeling about art.
Yes, definitely.
Art.
Yes,
that's necessary because we've heard of people that have had a teacher who said, "That's absolutely nonsense what you're doing."
Really?
Yes,
really?
and that's a shame because you turn on children at the early age and they don't ever touch a pen again.
No.
Because they're so turned on.
Yeah. And what they were doing might have been unusual, but it might have led in another direction. And that's it.
Like somebody told us, she had the topic was chaos.
Yeah.
And she had so much fun with the colors, and she was just spreading them on the paper. And the teacher said, "What's that?"
Oh no! Oh, yeah. And she was really enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it is a shame. It's good to encourage people. Really, I try and do it. You know. Yeah. What else was I thinking? I thought of something else that I was going to say. Oh yes, I did for my A level, which was sixth form, which was quite a high qualification. I had subject matter was change and decay, and so I went and found some old houses that I'm not quite sure what had happened to them, but they were sort of off the beaten track, and they were all ruined and they were all smushed up inside. I think children would wreck them and stuff. And so there was a door and things. So I stood and painted down the hall of one of these buildings, and as I was sort of stood painting, a policeman came in. I heard his radio to start with. I heard like a of his radio, and he came in and stood next to me, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm painting this here for my art project." He said, "All right. So you're not 12 teenagers wrecking the place then?" And I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Oh, that's all right. I'll leave you to it." So then he went away. But then when it came to that painting I'd done on the board, I'd stuck it on the board with masking brown tape. Yeah. So when they came to take it off, I think there was so much paint and gunk on board that they couldn't get the painting off. So they sawed off the area that was the masking. One of the woodwork was just sawed off, and we presented it with board and all, you know. So I sometimes wonder if the people assessing the project thought it was my idea to sort of keep it on this old board, you know. But yeah.
So had a solid
foundation. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but I thought that was I quite like that. Well, I could show you. I brought along some self-portraits.
Great.
So
show us.
Yeah. So these I did at college.
100 years ago.
100 years ago, yeah, that's a long, long time ago. Yeah. I've actually slimmed down. I've been through a phase where I was a bit bigger weight-wise, and I've actually slimmed down again. So, but I was really nice and slim in these. Yeah. So I've got this one, which is actually I did these drawings in a mirror. So if you're observing which is the right way to do it. Yeah.
Therefore,
yeah, sure.
Therefore, the staring eyes.
Yeah, that's it. Very intense. That's it. Some of yours are the same, aren't they?
I know.
Yeah. So that one, I'm obviously in my pyjamas. So.
Is this watercolor?
Coloured pencil.
Yeah.
But I think this was when I was discovering that pencil was my thing. I think we all find that is that you try all these different mediums.
Yeah, sure.
And one, you just
one you like more, and sometimes comes a time and you like another one. You know?
It's changing. That's true. That's true. Yeah, and that one's a very wild one, but I quite like the hair and things. But yeah, so I did all those, and I tended at the time I thought they all looked very different people, but now I look at them and they all look like the same. I can recognize it.
Yeah. And your face has changed a little bit, but I can. If I would see this, I know that's you.
Good. So it's nice to have them. It's nice to have things. Yeah. College days.
I throw a lot of my things. I throw it away.
Yeah.
Or I heated it. In the winter time, it was cold.
Oh really? It uses as
I think bags of drawings like this. You know, I put it in the
really. Oh gosh.
But
well, when you're generating that many, you can't sort of keep them all, can you? Really? That's it.
Unless you find collectors.
Yes, that's true. That's the ideal, isn't it? Early sketches. Yeah, that was very true. Yeah, that is true.
But it's too late now.
Yeah. That's just one of those things, isn't it? Yeah. But I sometimes wonder, some of the paintings in museums and galleries and things, by famous painters, whether if they came along and saw it, they'd say, "Well, what have you got that on the wall
Why
for?"
did they put it up?
That's terrible. Yeah, that's it. They don't really get a choice, do they? Once it's in the museum. Yeah.
Yes, we tend to go to museums and laugh at one or the other painting and say, if the painter would know, he would turn around in his grave.
Definitely. No. I've done exactly the same. You think, gosh, this is not... Because you can, when you see one that's really, really refined, Monet, to pick a name, some of his are absolutely gorgeous and all the little marks and things. But some of them you see, you think, no, that's an early one. He wouldn't be
a show in
he wouldn't. That's it. Yeah.
I've seen one once from Dürer.
Yeah.
He draw the hand. It was
crippled.
It wasn't a good drawing.
You know how difficult it is to draw the hands and so. Sometimes they are very good, but you have to have a practice in it. Because it's very difficult, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
No.
But they put everything from big names in the museum. Yeah.
Well, that's it. If it's a name, then stick it on a wall or something. Yeah.
Because there are many museums and a little bit of pieces of the great ones. You know?
Yeah, that's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, they'd like to have an example of that person's work. Yeah.
But I think those painters they didn't want to show.
No, definitely, and it's sort of misrepresentative in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't really see what that person was capable of. Yeah.
Because I hid some. That's in a secret corner.
That's it. Yeah, everybody has ones that work, and you just can't say, can you? Some just really work.
It's impossible to make just beautiful and masterpieces.
No, that's it. No. Yeah.
But I think always if you make mistakes, you can learn them. That's important, and that's how important that you have some people around you. They can tell you.
Yes, that's it.
And not say always, "Oh, great."
No.
Because then you believe it.
You think you're doing. You're going in a certain direction, and everybody's pleased with it. No, it's much better. But you can often gauge people's reaction, can't you? Even if they don't say anything, All right, this one isn't very good. So it's a really nice thing. And it's nice to help other people as well, to do it.
And do you have do you paint things that, or people, or animals along without knowing that somebody will buy it, or is it only work that is somebody wants to have it?
Well, that's a good question.
Ordered? Is it ordered?
Yeah, a lot. The ones you saw some of my work at the Portland, and so that work I created specifically to show, because until then, if I were doing any portraits of pets, dogs or anything, the person gets them, And there's something about taking a photograph of drawings like that. It doesn't look, you can't capture the drawing, It sort of either looks a bit grey or it lacks something. So I've not been satisfied with sort of reproducing those drawings for myself. So I actually thought, well, I'll go out and do a few drawings that can just be from me, from a photograph for me, to show people what I can do. So that's what I've done. And a lot of my paintings, I have a job parting with them. I can't really sell them. So people say, "Oh, you should sell some of your paintings." But you think, well, no, especially if they're very good. Well, I want to keep hold of it to show people. So I do have a problem sort of parting with paintings. Mm-hmm. So, but it's nice to do a drawing of people's pets and for them to really like it. I got a cousin who is partially sighted, and he has a guide dog, and so I did a drawing of his guide dog for them, and they're really, really pleased. His family's really, really pleased with that. So
because you cannot see it.
No, well that's it. No, but they were really, really shocked with it. So and I've done sort of drawings for friends of their dogs, you know, and two friends had two Cocker Spaniels, and one of them passed away after they did the drawing, so I've done like a drawing of the two together, which was nice. So, yeah. So that's good.
And your family is scattered around the UK, or your basic family where you came from?
Yeah, well...
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Oh, I had a brother, but he passed away when he was a teenager, unfortunately. He was in a car accident.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, that's one of those things. He was driving along and I think they hit one bank and then went through a hedge, but just where the hedge was, there was a post, and they hit the post. So we went along to see the car afterwards, and his car was hardly damaged at all, and then there was another car that was, the whole thing was like sort of stoved in, you know, from the front, and that person had walked away from the accident. So it's just a luck thing, you know, what happens, yeah. So. And my mum passed away fairly recently, but she was 84, so she'd have a good life, and yeah. So there's just my dad, and then a lot of my family's up in Lancashire. So he had 3 brothers. He's lost his 3 brothers, but he's still got his sister. And then there's cousins and things, and some cousins end up scattered all over the place, don't they? And I see them from time to time. I've got a cousin who lives up in the Lake District, so I go and stay with him. But he's very, very fit. And so I go rambling, so I go walking every other weekend, so I tend to think, oh yeah, I can walk, you know. But he takes me up these huge hills and things, you know, and he just walks, when he's walking he looks like he's going down to the local shop for a pint of milk, you know, even if he's halfway up this huge mountain, and I'm sort of like, trying to sort of charge after him. But that's really, really nice. You know, he knows the Lake District really, really well, so we can go all these different places, and yeah. And he's a nice guy, and he lives by the coast. It's sort of a little place called Askham-in-Furness, and he's got a little house there, and so we can go down to it's very, very close to a beach, and so we can make a cup of tea, and then take the tea and walk down to the beach and drink the tea on the beach, and so that's really nice. And you can gather firewood and things from there. So.
Yeah.
And then I've got all sorts of friends as well. They're also scattered all over the world. Because I play games and things, I've got quite a lot of friends in Europe, and we have like a little chat room we can go to. And I've got friends in France and Denmark, and there's another chap who's in the European channel. He's from South Africa, but he's an honorary European. So, because he's on the same sort of timeline, so that's okay. And I always like meeting people from different countries. And when I was just after school, I went interrailing. I went a couple of times with a friend, and we'd sort of bomb through European countries and stop at the capital, you know, and have a little look round, and then go on. And
sleep in the train.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, one time we got to, it might even Salzburg. Is that in Austria?
Yes.
It is. Yes. It might have been Salzburg. We got to Salzburg, I think, and look for it, because what we would do in a very disorganised manner is we'd get a train and arrive somewhere, and then look for a hotel, cheap hotel, and then stay the night, and then look round for a bit, and then head off somewhere else. So we got to Salzburg and looked for a hotel. It was very, very late at night. No hotel to be found. So we thought, oh no, what are we going to do? So in the end I said, well, why don't we catch a train that goes out somewhere for half the night and then get on the train and catch it back. Right. Yeah, so that's what we did. Yeah. So that worked really, really well. But you couldn't keep doing that, I don't think.
Oh, we did. 1 week, yes. I think we stayed in the youth hostel once, and at the friends another night, and the rest we were going as far as we could to be all night in the train.
And yes, that's good.
We went back and forth, and it didn't. We just looked where we get out.
Yeah, there's something.
That was extremely adventurous.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? The whole thing is really, really great, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I could do it now. Because there's something about leaning out, which you're not supposed to do, leaning out of the train, cleaning your teeth as you arrive into a new city, you know. It's sort of train-bound life, but we also found, in Italy, and this probably wasn't just Italy, just this is where it sort of struck us, what they would do is divide the trains. Mm-hmm. So you would be on one half the train, and you suddenly they said, oh well, I don't think we didn't actually. We heard horror stories of people, you know, going up to the other end of the train and then their friends were off to Rome somewhere and they were off somewhere else. But I don't think we ever got sent anywhere that we didn't want to go. Okay. But we had this horror of, which half are we in? And so that was exciting. Mm-hmm. And then there was a time in Scandinavia where that all tended to be trees. We would sort of, that was a sleeper. We could sleep on those, so we'd get a sleeper. So we'd go to bed and shut the curtains, and there was trees going past, and then we'd say, sort of, what do you think's out the window? Look. So we'd open the window and there'd be trees going by. So, but one thing I noticed is, I don't know if you've ever seen, you must have seen the Moomins. It was a program about these little hippopotamus type characters. It's like an animated children's program. It's quite a long time ago.
Okay.
And what they had on this Moomin program was tiny flowers that were just flat on the floor. And I thought it was part of the style of the program, you know, that there were just these little flowers on the floor. But I remember looking down into the wood, and there were these little flowers just on the floor. There didn't seem to be any plant attached to them. So I thought, it's actually true. And anyway, on one journey we were going up through Sweden, I think, and the guard came along and said, we're going to stop at this station, and if you want to get off and have a tea or something to eat, then do that, and I'm going to walk down and check everybody's back on the train before we set off again. So we thought, all right. So anyway, we looked out the other side, and there was like a lane down to a lake. So we thought, we'll come and have a look at this lake. So we got off, and we sort of walked all the way down to this lake, and we were taking photographs and things. And then we started walking back up towards the train, and we were saying, now if the train started moving now, do you think we would be able to run and get on it? We said, no, probably not. And we got sort of closer and closer, and then we thought, we could probably make it now. If the train moved off slowly enough, we'd probably get on it. Anyway, we got back on the train, went back to where our bags were, sat down, and the train set off. And he hadn't checked whether we were there or not. So that was one of those moments you think, So I'm not sure if there are any other sort of story. We did go through Yugoslavia when it was still Yugoslavia.
One country.
Yeah. And then they were. They had like border guards who came on, and there were obviously people from Yugoslavia who'd gone out to markets and things, and they had goods with them like trainers and jeans and things. And it seemed that anybody who had trainers or jeans was taken off the train. And then we were allowed to go on our way. And there was one old chap who, after all the guards had gone and we were moving again, he stood up, undid his trousers and took his trousers down, and he had another pair of jeans underneath, and he looked very pleased with himself. But we went all the way through Yugoslavia to Greece.
Wow.
Yeah. And then came back again. That's what you do, isn't it? You sort of think, right, we're going to do Athens. So like you get there for a day, have a look around, and but it's nice. I think I've been on guided tours of Italy, and you're shown everywhere to go and told everything. Mm-hmm. nice to be on your own and to experience the ordinariness of it.
The way of life that people live there and mingle. Do we say mingle with the people?
That's it. Yeah. It is.
If you would be part of them and not a tourist.
Yes, definitely. That's it. That's it. And it's even better when you know somebody and they can, you have a friend there, and then they can show you the life of. But we didn't have that. But we did sort of meet and talk to people. My friend, I always like meeting people, and sort of getting to know people. But he was less keen on that. And he could speak German and I couldn't. And so very often I'd be talking to some people who were German, and we were like sort of doing sign language and we're going here on, and he knew what we were saying and trying to communicate, but he would really be saying too much. And I'd be sort of, gesturing.
Yes.
But he was sometimes very impressed because I know a tiny bit of French, not very much. And that's it.
Well, in France it's difficult if you're only speaking English.
Yes, it is, yeah. I don't think I've been to France since I was quite little, so I never really experienced it. I think went on a school trip. Oh, we did go interrailing through there, yes.
Okay.
But I think our interactions with the locals was fairly limited. And we didn't really have much in terms of food. I don't know if that was the same for you. We tended to just have bread and meat or bread and jam. And you look back and you think, how the heck did we live, Because we didn't go into restaurants or cafes or anything.
Well, it was expensive.
It was, yeah.
You couldn't afford it. So
no.
You'd rather go to the supermarket and pick what you could find.
Yeah, that's it.
You didn't have to ask for anything, you just knew what you had to pay, so it's easier.
That is true, you just hand it over and then,
Yes.
Yeah,
in a small town shop or in a small village shop, you would have to explain what you want.
Yes.
And then you would got stuck pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true. I had a friend in Germany who got married and I travelled out to be at the wedding. And one time my technique is to learn, this is awful, my technique is to learn the word for one. And the word thank you, so I would just say one of those, thank you. And that seemed to work quite well. And but there was one time this guy was walking along the street and there was a clock or something on the wall and it chimed and he said something that was obviously a joke of some description, just by the way he said it. I have no idea what he said and I went, oh yes. And he was very pleased that I reacted. So that was good. But then when I was at the church, I was sat in the pews at the church and this lady said something to me and I went, oh yes, like that, as if I knew what she was saying. But of course you can't get away, so she continued talking to me and I had to say, actually I don't know what you're saying. So it only works in transition, that sort of technique of, But then afterwards we were at the reception and I was sort of on the patio and everybody was speaking German around me. So I was just like sat there, trying to look as if I knew what was going on. And then somebody said to me, oh, where are you from? I said, oh, I'm from England. And I said, oh right, so you speak English? I said, yes. And everybody around me switched to English.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it was lovely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
you don't want to insult anybody in
the
group. If somebody cannot speak the language, we can't speak the language. We rather try to speak the language that the person understands.
Really?
Yes,
that's fantastic.
It's polite, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it had a big impact on me. I really noticed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
And a lot of people do know English.
Yes.
The first foreign language in school, most of the time.
In
Austria.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's what, we're very lucky, aren't we? Really. It's probably, in a way, it perhaps sets us back from learning other languages because we don't have to.
Yes, that's right. And as soon as you say that you speak English, then everybody wants to practice.
So it's like a positive. So it's like a positive.
Yes, and you got stuck with improving your German.
That's it. Yeah. No, well, people, again, in shops, you know, you can sort of say to people, do you speak, or they'll even twig that you're English before you've really said anything, you know, and will speak to you in English. So I don't know if there's an accent, there must be, wasn't there? That's one thing that struck me that I hadn't twigged around, especially in Lancashire, where I'm originally from. Each village has its own slight accent, and my father can tell which village people are from by their accents. Because you're from Chorley, you know, you're from, and it's ridiculous, but I hadn't realised that, of course, other languages would be the same thing. You would have accents, variations of accents.
Hello.
Come in.
We found you.
Oh, hello.
We found you.
We're not interrupting you, are we?
No.
You sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Just be quiet.
Yes,
No, you can talk with us. It's not the problem. No?
Are you a local gentleman?
I'm from Wiston, yeah.
Where?
Wiston.
That's near Crewe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah. There's a Wiston Road or something. The Wiston Road or something.
Yeah, something like
Who did I used to go to there? Associated Tyre Specialists.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, off behind the...
Yeah. Are they still there?
I think they are. I think they're tucked away, yes. I think so.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. That was a long time ago. Memory.
Very good.
Yeah.
So...
It's a lovely chapel.
Yes.
Very pretty.
It is nice, isn't it? Yeah.
The real chapel is behind. It's built 1838.
It's lovely.
Yes.
Really?
Lovely
So this
building.
part is new, and
This
it's
is
only
new.
3 years old, I think.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Right. 1838.
Nice.
It's tucked away out of the way,
It's
isn't
tucked
it?
away.
Crikey me. We had to ask, we couldn't find it.
Really?
Yeah, we had to ask.
We asked
Whom did you ask? Did you
Oh, a
ask
local.
Ollie?
a local gentleman with his
Local
dog.
gentleman walking his dog.
The first gentleman didn't
Yeah.
know he was...
Yeah, first gentleman, he was not local.
I thought he was a builder, but I thought he might...
Well, he was a builder, but he wasn't local builder.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we eventually found somebody local, and he knew exactly where it was. Yes. So, William, is that what you've done this morning
Yes.
so far? Then?
That's the
Yeah.
village, yeah.
And how long did that take you?
No, I think
40 minutes.
30, 40 minutes.
Oh, no, all right, that's, yeah.
Because you're moving a lot. But it's okay.
Okay, good.
It's okay.
I thought I would actually, because I've done portraits myself, I thought I would actually be like sort of sitting very still. You know, I would have a job moving, but
That's
fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
How I am,
You know?
yeah.
It's
Well, that's
not-
what I'm. Yeah.
If it's for me more difficult, less, it's my problem.
Okay. Right.
But I like to have it in this way.
Okay. Brilliant. Good. Yeah. So it's one thing I hadn't realised was that regional accents would exist in other countries. So and that people would have sort of very strong accents that other folks couldn't understand.
It's in Austria. We're such a small country, and if from the very far west meet somebody from the very far east, they are talking to each other and understand nothing.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
I find it
Especially when there's a time with TV and with the language that everybody speaks. I mean, it's German like English is English. And there is Oxford English, and there is American English, and there is Australian English, but you can't understand. Try to be distinct, different, and understandable. But if those people talk to each other with the people from their village, nobody else understands them.
No, it is. It's like a migration of language, isn't it?
Yes, and especially in Austria we have so many mountains, and the valleys didn't mingle, you know, they mixed the people.
That's part of it, isn't it?
So it was developed in a very certain way, and the other one developed in another way. And so they have different words.
When I speak to people from Lancashire now, it's quite strong. Oh, there was an occasion, I've done some performing on stage, and I've done some various comedy shows and things, and on one time I was playing a bodyguard for a politician, and I was this bodyguard, very incompetent, and I think I managed to kill somebody somewhere, and anyway, afterwards this person in the audience came up to the director and said, "Well, that's a beautiful comic northern accent that that chap has put on." She said, "Oh no, he always talks like that." So, as I've already still got some of it. And people can, and that's another thing, when you're travelling around as well. I was in Australia for a time, and you do get sort of English people working out there behind in cafes and things, and when you would encounter someone with a Lancastrian accent, it was like a very beautiful thing, it's like refreshing just to hear them speak. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, Australia was good. When I worked in in London in the electrical catalogue place, I met someone from Australia, and we became friends, and she moved back out to Australia, and so I went to visit her, and I ended up spending, I actually said to my boss at the time in the publishing place, "I'm going to go to Australia for 3 months, you can keep my job open if you want or not." And at the time, it was just nothing, but when you look back, goodness me, I had this amazing job, and I just said, "Right, I'm off, I'll be back in 3 months," you wouldn't do it these days, I don't think.
No.
But anyway, that was fantastic, just travelling around Australia and going. We basically started in Melbourne, and then went up to Cape Tribulation, which is sort of near Cairns. Yeah, we went to Cairns and went and did some snorkeling and things, and saw the fish. And then we went up to Cape Tribulation, which is like a rainforest area, and we had like a guided tour in the rainforest at night, and saw this little bird curled up on a leaf. They sleep on the leaves, and then snakes don't get them. That was really nice. We went out to Longreach, which is there wasn't a lot out there. There was a youth hostel out there, I think, and there was an old guy in from one of the farms who'd come in because he was feeling a bit ill, so he was just spending a bit of time in the youth hostel while he got better, and then going back out again. And he was the character. Oh, and I went to Sydney, and then travelled out to the Blue Mountains. And the Blue Mountains are strange because they're not mountains at all. Basically, I sort of travelled out to where the Blue Mountains were supposed to be, and there was no sign of any mountains anywhere. And it was just like regular housing, like you would see around here, And then you would just come to this edge, and it was all down. It was like all a canyon full of trees and things, and there were like rocks poking up. But it was all down, and they'd been mining and things there. So I went down there and I saw a lyrebird, which is a bird that can imitate voices, and this one was imitating a camera shutter. So yeah, amazing.
Very clever.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. So that was a fantastic experience. Yeah. And we went out to Ayers Rock as well, which definitely. But in my prejudice, I was thinking, well, it's only really just a big rock, But it's vast, isn't it? It's like the size of it's this huge thing. And someone told me, the chap told me, although thinking about it might not be 100% accurate, but he was saying that all the strata layers are vertical. So he was saying at one time that it must have been upright and fallen over, but actually you do get the undulations in the strata, don't you? So it could have been that sort of thing. But certainly, a lot of it had been eroded, presumably.
But it's a holy mountain for the
religion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So when have you been there? A long time ago.
Yeah. So I would be.
Years ago?
Gosh. Yeah, 20 or more, 25, 30, yeah. I'm not really good at projecting back in time. Yeah, something like that a long time ago. So
time has changed there too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It'd be interesting to go and see again. Yeah, I should go out there. I haven't sort of had the time or the money recently, but I should sort of make time to go back out again now, really. Because it's an amazing place, especially the red centre around Ayers Rock. It's like almost another planet. You know, the plant life and the animals and it's all so different, and the red earth and everything. It's fascinating, the wildlife out there. The duck hospitals.
Yes.
Yeah, the wildlife. You mean like the poisonous spiders and the poisonous snakes?
Yes, true. Yeah, that's true. Yes, there was. Going out to Longreach, a chap from the youth hostel gave me a lift from the station, and he said, "I got this car from a farmer, and he had it in his barn." And he says it uses more oil than it does petrol. But when I was cleaning it out, he said there were lots of redbacks in it, a surprising number of redbacks, and I was like tucking my legs up.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah. Are they spiders or snakes? Are they
spiders?
Spiders. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Big
ones. No, I don't think they are that big.
They're quite small.
They're quite small, but they're very dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd probably think small would be dangerous, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So you'd have to know all about the animals before you would go in the wilderness.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It can be very dangerous. The crocodiles, you hear all sorts of stories of
I read a story about someone being bitten by a snake in Australia, and I was sure I read it in what was that little tiny magazine you used to get?
Reader's Digest.
No. Oh, would it have been Reader's Digest? So was it about small?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a Reader's Digest, and it showed you. It assured me that before I read it that it was a true story.
Yeah,
and it was about they have what are called linemen who go along fixing fences. And they're away for sometimes days and weeks on end. You know, they're just in the wilderness. They are. And he was working, and he got bitten by a snake, and he was familiar with the snake, and he knew what the position was, and he knew how long he had to live, and he knew he'd got 24 hours, and then he would be dead if he didn't get to
vaccine,
the antidote for it. So he had a thought, and I believe he was on horseback, but however, it got to the point where he had to crawl. He was in a bad way. So he thought to himself, I can't get back to civilization, but I know that once a week on a Wednesday, the postman comes once a week on a Wednesday to this small holding who owned the fences that he was working on. But of course, we're talking, 10, 15, 20 miles. Well, in Australia, I mean, that's no distance at all, is it?
That's your neighbour.
So he decided to crawl to the road, which was away from where he would needed to go, but he decided that the only way he could do was in the hopes of catching the postman as he went past him. He got to the road and waited and waited and waited, and lo and behold, the postman came.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
But guess what the tale of the story is? He came a day early, and it was Tuesday.
Oh.
And it was a Tuesday.
God.
And the guy thought it was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
He was so delirious from his snake bite.
Yeah.
It was a Wednesday.
Yeah, goodness.
So he thought, the postman comes on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the postman came a day early. He came on Tuesday. Now, and I was sure that I read the story, and I went, absolutely, that's a true story.
Yeah.
Now how lucky can that bloke be?
Yeah, that's it.
The postman came a day early. Never explained why he came a day early.
Just to save him.
Yeah, to say,
well,
he was meant to be there.
Yes.
If you believe in God, then there is one. Yeah.
Well, that man does now.
Well, he probably does now, yeah. If he didn't.
Come to chapel.
Yeah. I was listening to what you were saying about the accents as well, about the Lancashire accent, because we live in Lancashire, you see.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's amazing, actually, that we don't have a Lancashire accent because I wasn't born and bred there. And in fact, although you said that I had a fairly clear, educated accent, so to speak, if you like, anybody that comes from where I come from, which is Nottinghamshire, immediately recognises my accent. And although I don't think I've got one, but they do. Everybody say, "Oh, you're from Nottingham," and I haven't lived in Nottinghamshire for 64 years. I left when I was 10, but apparently it's still there.
Yeah.
And also, thinking what you were saying about Lancashire, you only need to go 50 miles north, or less even, into the Lake District, and they have a distinct Cumbrian accent, which is nothing like Lancashire. No, it's not like a Yorkshire accent.
No.
It's not, and of course the northern border is Scottish, so it's not a Scottish accent. It's a unique accent for the Lake District. Literally, when I hear somebody talking, I can't mimic accents because I'm absolutely useless at that. I have a brother-in-law, he could do it for me. He could do anything, he could do any accent from anywhere, but I'm useless at it. But as soon as I hear somebody from Cumbria speaking, you're from Cumbria, and this is a small area of quite low population, and I was thinking something that Willem said, it's possible that it's because of years gone by, people didn't move out of valleys, or they lived in localities that they never left in all their lives. Because
especially in Wales.
I mean, in the valleys of Wales, possibly, and places like the Lake District, and they didn't move out at all. They were born there. They stayed there, they lived there, and they died there. So it's probable that that's how these little local accents and idiosyncrasies as well of people can be derived from not moving or being where you are for possibly hundreds of years, because I suppose travel, apart from itinerants and apart from possibly sheep farmers who drove their cattle to market maybe twice a year or something like that, people didn't travel, did they?
No.
I mean, the word holiday was a non-existent word, wasn't it?
And it makes the people strong in their behaviour and in their accent, because it's part of their lives and it's part of their communities. It is strong. Like, I was in America for a year. I was an exchange student, and we had lots of people in the community where we were all brought from all different kinds of countries. And in the beginning there was some girl from Thailand, and we could hardly understand her because her English was, I don't know, rudimental. It was just a few words, And by the end of the year we could finally have a normal conversation with her, because she has picked up everyday English, and he was in school and everything. And there was one guy from Manchester. Couldn't understand him. By the time we left, after
Manchester.
a year,
I
still couldn't understand. He wouldn't change his language. language.
No.
He wouldn't adapt to the American.
Yes.
He would still be the same. He was a Manchester guy, and he was a Manchester guy from the beginning and in the end. And that was really funny.
Definitely.
If you go to America, they, as soon as they know you're English, they talk to you because they want you to talk back, because they just love the English language. They love the English. They love English. It's because I mean, American is not English, is it?
Do you think that leaving the European Union affects your life in any way?
Yes, good question. Personally, I think so. I think it could be a negative thing. It's a very complicated subject. I mean, my feeling was to stay in Europe and, you know, all be together, and but based on no real knowledge of my own. You know, you sort of, I think a lot of us in England sort of have our feeling, leave or remain, but we have no real backup in terms of, you know, knowledge. It's like an emotional thing. I like being part of Europe, and you know, I like being connected to all the other countries. I've heard people say who wanted to leave, saying, "Oh, there's all this centralisation of power and things, you know, and rules, and you know, and that it'll benefit the central countries, and the outlying countries won't do as well." So you think perhaps that's true. So yeah, I think we could suffer in terms of trade and things. I think it sounds like it might be worse. We can theorise. I think the theory is that we start trading with all the other countries around the world. You know that. I think that I don't sort of fully. There was something about someone talking to me about. He was sort of a Leave person. Was saying that we used to trade a lot with places like New Zealand and things, and then we were told you can't trade with those countries, you've got to trade with Europe. So how true that was, I don't know.
I have seen apples from Chile and New Zealand, kiwis and everything.
Yeah, that's it. So
even with the part of people in the
European Union, so it's still coming.
It's a world topic, I think.
Yeah, true.
Trade
nothing like as many though. If you have seen them, you've not seen many. I mean, our shelves are full of French apples and
I've only seen
very. We actually stuck our two fingers up to Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and several other countries when we joined the EU. You sort of obviously gathered now that I am absolutely opposed to the
No.
But I would have to say, before we go on to talk about something else, I have never supported membership of the EU. It's got nothing to do with the recent referendum. I have never supported the EU, and I have never had the opportunity to vote.
No.
They say it's all right saying, "Oh, we voted to leave." I was never given the opportunity to join join a political union. I was given a vote to join a trading which I voted against incidentally then. But that was, of course, back in 1966. But I was never ever asked or given a vote to join a political union, and so therefore it's all right saying, "Well, you voted to leave." I never voted in the first place. So why should I have to vote out to something that I never voted into? So you've obviously gathered from that I am a hardened, not just a Brexiteer, but a hardened Brexiteer. Yeah. So there we are. So there is two sides to every story.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, and I can see that there are two sides to the arguments. and I don't know which is right.
And I don't see why we need to be in a political union, being given orders from Brussels to trade with the EU, with a European country. Trade. I don't see where there's no connection. I'm quite happy to sell my goods to Austria or to France, and I'm quite happy to buy German goods or French goods. I don't see why I need to be in a political union to do that.
Yeah, it's a political union. Is a republic, is somewhere where everybody has a voice and can talk to each other. And I think before we voted to be part of the European Union, and we were asked if we wanted to vote. I was not really, I didn't vote for it. I have to admit.
Right, yes.
But in my life, when I was working for a company who was trading with European countries, with the rest of the world, it got so much easier to not fill in all these stupid papers to all the other countries, but to the European Union. And all of a sudden we have the euro as a currency. We don't have to exchange, we can go from country to country, and we don't have to have 4 or 5 different currencies in our pocket. And this is an advantage. And only when we were in, we knew the advantage it was. And we didn't know before. Now I think it's a community, and the community is, as a beginning with 2, it's hard to find a consensus. To be on the same opinion. But as in a communion, in a community, you just have to be aware that there are different opinions and there are different needs, and so I think if it was be talked more about it, maybe instead of taking a decision, it may be an advantage for more people.
True. I think that's it. I think a lot of people, obviously a lot of people objected to the whole thing from the start, and also I think a lot of people feel like there's like an inevitable movement towards like a United States of Europe, which isn't necessarily the case. It's it's more doing things that make things a little easier for all the countries to interact and cooperate with each other.
But it has maybe through the last years gone to a state where people don't understand or don't have the advantage or see see it more a drawback and see it as if it was from the top to the bottom. It is, but it has to come from the bottom to the top. And every country and every state who is at the moment reigned by politicians that think they have their power and they want to do what they want, and not listen to what the people want. That's the greatest problem. With so many nations, there are so many people and so many different opinions. So maybe it's just we are in Brussels and we have to do what you do there is what the people have the opinion. What it is.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
And I think with the more national feelings that come from all the different countries, there is a little bit of a danger in it also, that every country wants to be on their own.
Well, that's it. That's it. And that's a good point as well. That you get the impression that they so want to do what they decided they want to do. They're busy doing that, but not saying to anybody else. That's it. If it was expressed more as we're all on a level and we're all just doing things that help us all, work together. That would make more sense to a lot of people than. Let's all move the power to one place,
And also I think that's the newspapers and the TV, they tell us what they think people want to hear.
Yeah, yes, true.
And
true.
that's very much colored.
Yeah.
To their own people that are their buyers.
Yeah.
So if the magazine is, I don't know, party of closer to a Labour Party, they would catch everything that's useful for them. And the other ones, they take the other kind, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always what does the public want to hear, and what does the media feed the public?
Yes, I think with newspapers and with TV news as well.
Media.
Things. Yeah, the media in general. Yeah, it's people have their opinion and they just want to be told things that sort of
fit
that decision. Rather than being told what's going on and saying, oh, if that's going on, I'll change my mind. And I'm much more like that. I'd rather know what's happening and what the truth is, and then adjust to that.
Hello. So hop in and see how you're getting on.
Great.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
This is Ollie, and he invited us.
How do you do?
Oh, well done. Yeah, so you set it in motion.
I think so. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So you're an artist yourself, have you?
I am. Yes.
Ah,
so it's a bit unusual because I've done portraits of the people.
Yes.
Just little pencil portraits.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought I'd perhaps be a bit self-conscious, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, is this a good jumper? You know, and is this shirt unfair? You know, like your shirt. If I had to draw your shirt, you'd think, oh, flip it.
Too many checks.
Yeah, that's it. This is going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, it's going very well, I think.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And they're getting the story out of you.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah.
We're not cooling, are we?
No, that's it. I seem to be quite talkative. I wouldn't have said it was the case, but
good stuff. Yeah. And it's a good venue, isn't it? It's
lovely lights.
Yeah. Light food and stuff. It's it's good. Excellent. Yeah, and Norman showed you in all right. Was it Norman?
Yes, it was Norman. The group of children and the mothers was still in there.
Okay,
There was a lot of life in here before.
Yes, Charles group in the morning.
It was the morning's mothers group, I think.
Right.
Children were.
Oh, that would be underage children, would it?
Yes.
Pre-start.
Yes, that's right. Preschool children.
There was babies in the from probably brothers or sisters as well.
Right.
Toddlers.
Yeah, we have them at home at church.
Yeah. Good stuff. So none of them wanted to hang around and give you a hand painting, or hand painting.
Face painting.
Three little ones along here doing their own.
They did some stuff here.
Oh, that's why it's wet. You said it was wet.
It's still wet when we came here, and some of them took it with them.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah.
So you want a chair and stay?
Oh, so I'm not going to hang around for too long. I've got work to do. I just thought
It's been interesting.
I like the fact how many brushes you can hold.
It's just the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's good stuff.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
Right, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you later. You're most welcome.
No, see you later.
Yes.
We have to come back.
That's it. Take care.
Okay, bye.
So, going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is there an incident in your life that has changed your life the most, or is it just one by the other one?
Yes.
Yes.
I was very sort of shy and down on myself for a long time, I think. So, and I've gradually come out of that.
Okay.
You might be able to tell. I'm not sure. I suppose it's friends. The Australian friend I met while I was working at the electrical distribution company. she was very good and sort of befriended me and took me out and things, and you know, and I think that was the start of something, of me sort of opening up a bit. And I remember I used to get very, very stressful in social situations, very, very tense, and I didn't even realise I was doing it. And then I was out with I think it was friends of the family, and we were in a room, and I thought, goodness me, I'm like bunched up like this. So I just told myself to relax. I just thought, relax. So I just sort of relaxed a little bit. And since then, if ever I'm sort of really tensed up, I just think, relax. And I can just do it. And so, and that sort of changed. Oh, also, what's helped as well is that, you know, I worked for this chap who used to perform in a drama group. And he got me into performing on stage. So my mum used to perform on stage.
Big step.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was, I would write comedy. They did like a comedy review, which is they pick a subject for the show, and then everybody would write sketches, you know, to be performed. So I was helping out with the scenery backstage, putting things on stage and then going off again. And I was writing some of these sketches. And then one woman director said to me, oh, we just want you to be in one sketch. She says, you'll only be on stage for like 10 seconds. And I was, oh, I don't want to do it. She says, you won't be on for long, just 10 seconds, you know, you just held that. I said, oh, all right then. So then she sort of cast the show. She said, okay, you're in 3 sketches, she said. So I went on stage and sort of learned the lines as best I could, but I didn't realise at the time that it's ideal, because I'd written sketches, I felt like I could just alter them slightly on the fly, but I hadn't realised that it's useful for the other person who's in the sketch to know what you're going to say, because then they can say the line that they prepared, you know. So I stopped ad-libbing wildly after that first, but those shows that I performed in, they went really, really fast, you know, it's like sort of lightning fast they went by. And you gave you such a high as well, you know, you felt like you were on top of the world when you came out after performing the show, and everybody was laughing and things, and so I think that helped me a lot as well, to sort of come out as performing, and I think I can switch into performing mode, like when I'm doing my teaching art, I think I'm in performing mode, which is a lot, and it's almost, I have no fear at all. When I'm on stage, I have no fear. Anything can happen, and I'm just sort of, I'll forget my lines or something, and I'll just say, oh, I've forgotten what I'm supposed to be saying next. And then it'll come to me, or someone will prompt me, or so it was a very strange, in my real life I was quite sort of shy and retiring, and on stage I was completely fearless. And I think the two have sort of blended together more now. So, which is a nice thing.
Do you find it more difficult to perform in front of an audience that you know personally, rather than in a mess that you don't know?
I don't think so. Not now. Yeah. But I think sort of I'm always interested to meet strangers and sort of communicate with strangers, so I think that helps, because, you know, but I'm a lot more relaxed with people I know now. Yeah, so I don't find it more difficult to perform in front of people I know particularly. I just, yeah, it's just, I'm just sort of concentrating on what I'm doing and the lines I'm delivering and things. I can't really do different accents or different voices, I just be me. That's slightly different strengths of accent, so, yeah, it's been brilliant. I'm trying to think if there's any. I was the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz, so that was good. And they got me a costume, and at the time I was a bit bigger than I am now, and I have a tendency to let my hair grow out, and it doesn't grow long, it just grows out, and I had a beard, and so they were saying, well, we need to get Stuart a costume, and someone said, well, I'm not sure he needs a costume. Which was fair or unfair, depending on how you look at it. But anyway, they did get me a costume, which is a really nice one, with like a nice name and things. And then they got I can't sing very well, so they had a music teacher come in and give me like private lessons in singing and things. And I go to the music rehearsals, and it's like a different language, I just could not, they're talking about basses and octaves, and just did not absorb it. Anyway, by the end, they sort of got me onto this style of, which was like talking singing, which isn't really singing at all. I was just like doing the lines, and I said to the music
problem
teacher
with being an artist, William, is that it's probably your relatives of in about 200 years' time that will be wealthy.
Yeah.
That's the case, though, isn't it, with most artists?
Yes, often.
All their hard work is worth more money once they've departed this earth, isn't it? Is that something coming in?
Oh yes. So I went to the music teacher and I said, thanks for helping me with my singing. And she said to me, I'm not sure I did. So I don't think I was any better when I finished than when I started. So, but that was a really nice show to be in.
And how often did you?
It's a lovely.
About sort of perhaps a couple of shows a year. I would be in 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
We would do my main thing was the comedy show. Doing sketch around here. And that was really nice. We were in like a new village, which was all built at once, and the villages were very sort of neighbourhoods. There were all sorts of different neighbourhoods, and they're all very informally laid out. The theory was that the numbering of the houses was like the postman's route as you walk round. But that meant that it was very hard to find house numbers. You could find number 10, but you didn't know whether number 11 was round the next corner or over there. So we had lots of material for jokes and things. So it was always nice to write a comedy sketch about the village because people loved that. So it's a really nice.
And they knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, everybody knew. That's it.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have.
Oh, same here. Yeah, same here.
Very nice to have.
Yeah.
Very nice to have.
Yes, thank you.
We've watched it coming along.
Oh God. Yes, I haven't seen it yet.
No. Yeah, it's very nice.
Shall we see you later?
See you.
Okay.
Yes.
What time will
Back
you
at
think
home?
you might be back?
I think
Back 4-ish.
at least I need 2 hours more.
Yes, very good. Anyway, we'll see you when you get back.
Yes.
Yeah?
It's 10:01.
We cannot be overseen.
Yeah, no problem.
It is lovely.
Yes.
Even like that, it's...
A lot of work goes into
yes,
that.
it does. And stand the back.
I certainly wouldn't have the patience to pay for to come.
You recognized him?
Oh, yes.
Very much so, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Before you started.
We recognised him.
Yes.
We recognised you when we came in.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That was what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
An hour more ago?
Not quite.
About an hour, wasn't it? Something like that. We recognised you then.
Oh wow, brilliant.
Yeah. So,
Oh, definitely. I did probably more than you did.
Yeah. Okay then.
It's nice.
Good.
We'll go and do a cycle.
Good.
We may not
Find some more mud.
Yeah, we may not cycle. Oh yeah, plenty of that.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it?
We may not cycle direct back. I think
There's lots of puddles today because
Is there?
it rained all night.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And we took a wrong turn down into a farm. So it was.
The tad moo cows.
Yeah,
So, it was
yeah, oh, God.
so the bikes are
So
dirty
lots
now.
of...
So, but it's okay. I've got some stuff to clean them with.
Okay.
You might have a black eye when you come home.
See you later.
See you.
Yeah, take care.
Look at that. If you want to have lunch or
Yes,
some
could
other drink, you can.
Yes,
Yeah, you just do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, okay. Have a spot of lunch. very favourite thing. You know, I've got lots of favourites. I enjoy meat potato hash, which is something my mum used to make, which she taught me to make, and I can make it. You know how your mum makes things and it's a certain flavour and things,
yes.
and you know you
search
can't
for the rest of your life.
That's it. Well, when I make the meat potato hash, it's sort of it's taste like hers used to taste, so that's nice. And it's all it is like mince and potatoes and onion, quite English, and salt and pepper. But you sort of cook it once, and it's it's like a clear liquid, and then you sort of let it cool down, and you can sort of warm it up again, and it's gone all very nice and sort of thicker sauce. So that's I do enjoy that.
But it has to cool down in the meantime.
Well, it depends on whether the situation, but what my ideal is, you let it cool down and then heat it up again before you eat it, because then it's all the good stuff, But if we want a meal of that night, we'll have it first cook.
Okay.
Yeah. What
and
else?
how is it? Onions that roasted and the potatoes in it, and sort of like a soup?
Kind of.
Meat, or meat in it?
It's, let's see, so it's I'll chop the potatoes thinly.
Yes.
And put them in the water, and then sort of heat the water up, and then I'll fry the mince. I'll often use lamb mince. I'd rather lamb mince is tastier than beef. And with the onions chopped up very.
Mince. Well, I thought it's an herb. It's
no,
meat.
mint. Mint is like
is it
that's
certain part of it?
Mince meat, which is you put it through.
Minced meat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
So fry that and the onions, and then tip it in with the potatoes, and then it's like a stew type thing. Yeah, so that's very nice. So that's something I grew up eating. So I think we all have things that we grew up eating that are we really enjoy. I don't think my parents had, or even their parents had a lot of money growing up, so they used to eat. My father used to eat tripe. Do you know what tripe is?
No.
It's cow's stomach lining, as far as I understand it. So it's like part of the. I think they chop the stomach up and boil it. It's like a cross between a squid and carpet underlay. It's got it's like thickish and jelly, and it's got like a texture on one side.
Okay.
So I don't eat that. My uncles really like it with vinegar on, but I don't really like that. But black pudding I eat, which is you probably have the same blood sausage with fat in it. And for a long time.
I like that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Cold and also roasted.
Fried
and with potatoes.
Yes. Yeah, really nice.
Potatoes.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't eat it for a long time. I just didn't like the concept. But then when I actually tried some, I thought, yes, this is lovely. I try not to have it too often, but yeah. And when I was little, I used to think that tongue, the meat tongue, and the organ tongue, it was just a coincidence that they had the same name. I thought that. It was just called tongue. I thought it was completely separate. The fact that tongue was meat, and that And then one day I was at my granddad's, and he had a pot on the stove, sort of cooking something, and I lifted the lid off, and there was a cow's tongue in there cooking, and so that put me off. So I didn't have tongue from that day forward. And I don't think I particularly liked it even before then.
Okay.
But
But in the sausage, it's good.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, really?
It tastes really
Oh, I can imagine.
It's sliced, and you can have it already made.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
Yes.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah. We have eaten it here.
Oh, really?
We found it in the supermarket.
Have you? What's it called?
Zungenwurst.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. I'll try some.
Yes.
I think it was
really good tasting.
Is it really? Yeah. Oh, I do like salamis and chorizo, all that sort of thing. I'm always looking for a good sausage
for the sandwich.
For the sandwiches, yes, that's it. So I will try that. I think with the flat meat, it's like that sort of rounded shape and the strange, you know.
It has several tongues in one share, in one
portion or one sausage.
Yes, in the sausage you see that there are several tongues in it, and the rest is filled with spices, and it's really good.
Oh, really? So it's not cow's tongue then, or is it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's either cow or pig. I think
it's from the cow.
Cow.
Is it?
Is it cow? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose when I was little, and saw it, it seemed to be about this big.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Slices off.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
right.
slices.
Right.
So they put it in a big sausage, and then when you slice it, you only get the small pieces. Yeah. It looks nice.
Yeah.
So it looks good.
I'll find it. Yeah. I'll try that. My dad will like that as well. That's something I've learnt. I like Thai food as well.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, lovely. It's so complex, all the different flavours and things. We go to a Thai restaurant in Nantwich, and that's really, really nice. Yeah. But one thing I find is green Thai curry. It seems to be different every time you go to the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be different. It's nice. Sometimes it's more coconutty, and sometimes it's hotter, and sometimes it's more aniseedy. And so I don't know if it's different chefs or what, but or what ingredients they have or have not got, you know. But it's always lovely, and I have cooked some on occasions.
Come in.
Hi.
Hi. Come in.
You can have a seat and join us.
Yeah. I'm just going to see if everything's okay.
Yes.
Good. Looking good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, that's nice. And
you like Indian?
I'm not as much. I try and I try different things, but it's never really clicked with me.
Okay.
I'm not as enthusiastic as for the Thai food. I
you like spicy food? Or not so much?
No, medium, sort of, sort of a bit spicy, but not too much for me. So, yeah. No, I don't like it to be too hot. So it's like a level. I'll do chili. I'll cook chili, that sort of thing. Yeah. I enjoy cooking. I seem to have inherited that. So, what did I do? I did a casserole a while back, and that was a revelation to me because I'd had casseroles by other people, you know, and they're always really nice and things. And so I'll have a go at one. And just boil vegetables and meat and things in the pot, and then heat it up and leave it for a bit. And then it was tasted like a proper, really tasty casserole, and I was amazed. Yeah, that was a real revelation, you know, that I think I used to think, I wouldn't be able to do that. That was my automatic response to most things was, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it. Other people could do that, but I wouldn't be able to. So when you actually find you can do these things, you know, it's like, it is. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to cook, isn't it?
I like to cook when I have people to eat it.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Cooking for myself is not interesting at all.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind cooking for myself. The trouble is, if you do...
Yeah, you have to have a certain portion.
Yes.
So that it is really tasting well. And I don't want to eat the same stuff 3 days in a row.
Oh, right, yeah.
Unless I can freeze it. But out of the freezer, I don't like it.
No.
Better and best if it's freshly cooked.
Yes, true, yeah. But, I don't mind eating the same thing a few days.
Well, 2 days in a row, hour.
2 days, yes.
But the third day and the fourth day, I mean.
Yes, it's getting a bit. Yes, that's true. That loses its charm. Yeah, that's true.
Although you can, like if there is leftovers, you can put something else. Like if you have vegetables and meat, and the next day the rice is gone, you can have some noodles to go with.
Yes.
It tastes different, and you can make something or put another vegetables in it, and then makes another taste or so.
Yeah, I like doing that. Yes. That's nice to do.
So.
And sometimes it's nice to not have much in the fridge and just sort of.
Yes.
And then it turns out really well.
You can never do it again.
No, you can't. That's it. No, you don't quite know what you did, but yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I do enjoy my food. We're very lucky around here. We have lots of nice restaurants and things, and nice pubs and Nantwich has a lot of nice places to eat as well. So.
Yes. This was the Green Man Gallery in Buxton.
Oh, right.
Where we have been able to stay for 2 weeks.
Oh, brilliant!
It's a wonderful place, and they have local artists exhibiting, and they have their community stuff in there, and they're doing some arts for the kids, and they're really great.
Brilliant, lovely. So what, they've let you set up and do some paintings there? Or?
Yes, you could stay in the parking lot, and
brilliant.
We wanted to do the painting outside because we have an awning on the car. Yeah. But it was so cold, so they let us in the gallery, and we could have a room there.
Brilliant.
And there was six days that we could. 7 people that he could paint.
Oh wow, brilliant!
I made more drawings, but just one painting and the drawings.
Yeah.
And it was also people that would go in and watch and just drive by. Was it the bank holiday weekend?
Started,
excellent. And then on this weekend we got more people for the weekend, so we stayed another week.
Because people saw what you were doing.
They said,
I like it. Yes, that's it. That's what I find when I'm doing portraits, mostly of children in pencil. You just need one person to say, "Oh, I'd like it done," and then other people see you're doing it and think, "Oh, I'd like it done," but nobody dare do the first one. Yeah.
You have to have one
brave person.
One person in your relatives.
I think that's it. I think that's probably the best plan, actually. Yeah. I think in other villages the communication isn't there, so someone might fancy coming along but they have no idea you're there, whereas in Orland they see the website and say, "Oh, I'll go along to that." So
that was the reason why we went to Buxton.
Oh, really?
Because they had a wonderful homepage, community, and we just wrote to them.
Right,
And we said, "Hey, that's what we're doing," and we got an answer. And
they said, "We're coming to Buxton."
We want to
that just shows, doesn't it?
Yes, it was just such a warm welcome. And then they gave us the address of the Green Man Gallery. And we just walked in there and it was open arms,
That's
great.
It is. No, I love that sort of thing where you just sort of arrive and people look after you and it sort of gives you faith in human nature.
Yes, absolutely. It's really great.
No, it's a really nice project that you're doing, I think.
It's rather unique. I don't think that we have anybody that is our what do you say? We'll do the same thing within short time.
Nobody have our madness.
No one does.
Look well if all the other artists, you end up with like loads of people going round and round, But it's, I think it's a brilliant idea. So where do you store your oil paintings? Because they'll...
So the truck is... We have a cellar in the truck.
Oh, right. So you
real basement.
We have a basement.
It's not that big. And,
excellent.
And there is one big drawer that is 2.5 meters long.
Oh wow!
And that high and that wide.
Yeah.
So we can slide it in.
It just stays there.
Wheels and it can go in there.
Brilliant!
And then we go back to Austria once a year.
Oh right. Okay.
And we can exchange the ones that are painted stay at home, and the other ones, the new materials go in the car.
Oh, we can load up. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's probably a wise thing. Because otherwise you'd be chock-a-block with paintings before long.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, I think, well, we hope to get about 20 to 30 paintings from each country in the average.
Yeah.
So sometimes more, sometimes less.
Yeah.
So it will end up with 33 countries.
Wow.
Between 500 and 1,000.
Goodness me, brilliant.
Paintings and drawings.
Yeah.
So
you won't be able to have like an exhibition of them all.
Yeah.
Yes.
You will. Yeah.
And also the movies and stories.
Yeah, brilliant. Very good. Yeah,
so Buxton has already said, yes, we want to have one.
Yeah. Oh, an exhibition.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, so you can establish those as well. You can sort of find out places.
There's a one too.
What?
I saw. Yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah, we can establish the places.
Yeah.
Like in London the portrait gallery.
Yes, that's it. Little annex. Yeah.
And the Louvre.
Yes, that's it. I'm sure there'll be, clear the walls of a certain area. Yeah.
Get the Mona Lisa down. She's been there long enough.
So what?
But they can hang it up. They can hang her up again.
Yes, that's it. Just put her in the corner. But that's it.
Find a new Mona Lisa. What is your biggest wish?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really think. Biggest wish.
Is there anything like skywalking? I don't know. Something that you have not done before or would like to do?
Yes, to see either swim with dolphins or see the gorillas. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. You can sort of swim with dolphins in different places. I think you can, somewhere in Ireland you can swim with dolphins as well. There's a certain cove where the dolphins come and they sort of know that human beings are going to be there,
And in California, I think they also have,
that's it.
They have therapies with kids for dolphins.
That's it. And Australia as well.
Did you have the flipper?
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and they just seem so intelligent, don't they? They seem
so caring. They have a social life, and with people, they have a strong relationship to people. They build up a very strong relationship.
Yeah, definitely. And you get the feeling that, like these places, these wild places where they come, let's just say, let's go see if there are any humans there. We can have some fun with. So I think they must be incredibly intelligent.
We had a cat for several years, for 17 years, and this cat was amazing. When you had pain, some were on your body, he would lay on the pain.
Really?
He would know.
Yeah.
And there was once we had a guest, a friend of Wilfried's, in our house, and he said he had pain on his kidneys.
Yeah.
And the cat was laying on his kidneys.
Oh wow!
Right away,
How
and
amazing.
He would know.
I mean, because that's like if somebody's generally in pain, then you can imagine them sensing that, but actually knowing where the pain was is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
I know there are dogs like that. I went to Greece with some friends and stayed there for a few years, and that was really nice. Yeah.
For a few years, even.
Well, not for. I mean, for a week every year or so.
Oh, okay. Once a year, every year.
Yes, that's it.
And which season? What was it?
Yeah, more after the heat.
It's September.
So in the September, October-ish.
Oh,
yes, yeah. And it was a lot nicer.
Then the water is really warm.
Yeah.
For swimming and.
Oh, lovely! Mediterranean's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can just go down to the beach and go swimming in the evening.
That's right.
Yeah, really nice. And Greek food is very, very nice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I can live from the starters.
Yes, definitely. Well, we would do that. We would get in just a lot of different starters and just have a little bit each. Yeah. And
desserts.
And the desserts, yes. Yeah, very sticky and that's it. And it's like there's clashes of bitterness and sharpness and, like the feta cheese and raw onion and olives and things. And at first I was thinking, I'm not sure, but you sort of click with it and then it's brilliant.
And it also needs the atmosphere and the ocean. And
it does.
Yes.
It's not the same in this country.
If you drink retina at home, it's nothing.
No.
You have to have retina at the beach.
Yeah.
And the shade and I don't know.
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing.
It has to have the dinner also to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was really nice. Yeah. And what would we have? We'd have Greek yogurt and honey and peaches in the morning. That was good.
But the Greek yogurt is coming. There's
a lot. It is. Yeah, I have it quite often. Yeah.
I also like the sour cream. That's great.
Oh yes, yeah.
I could put it into everything.
That's the problem, isn't it, when you like?
Or eat it raw.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I don't think I've gone in for sour cream. I have had it, but I should put some on because it's probably good on a jacket potato, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Some herbs and.
Yeah.
You're getting hungry.
Yes, that's it.
We like it.
Yeah.
We don't like it. We didn't know.
No.
So that was our first vacation together in a tent. And it was raining every day. It was always raining when we were in the tent, when we were somewhere in the car and driving from one to the other point.
Yeah.
But we never thought it was a terrible thing.
No.
It was really fun.
Well, that's it.
And we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we got so much routine in waiting till the rain stopped, packing when it was just about dry, get it back in the car, and go on.
Yeah.
And the same was the next time. We could put up the tent when it was still dry, and crawl out of the tent when it was again dry, and it just stopped raining. And we enjoyed it a lot.
Well, that's it. When I was talking to my friend about it, it's a very strange thing, isn't it? It's like if you describe camping, you're basically giving up your comforts and going out with the potential of being rained on all day, but it's very enjoyable as well.
Yes.
And I suppose it sort of breaks all your routines, doesn't it? And there's something even nice about being in a tent when it's raining, I find. Yeah.
As long as you don't have to go to the toilet.
No, that's it. Well, that's it. No, it was like that in the nights when we were in Hester. I think, oh gosh, I hope it stops raining soon. Yeah.
And it was too early. We don't look for it. And the next, and then we got hungry.
Yeah.
So we were looking for a restaurant or for an inn or for a pub or anything where to buy food. And we couldn't find it for 20 kilometers.
Goodness me.
And then on the end of the road we found a supermarket which had opened on that day. It was a Sunday. We didn't expect a supermarket in a village like this opening on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we got us some food and from then on we always had chocolate chip cookies in our
just in case.
And we bought something to eat whenever there was something to eat.
How amazing!
Because we only eat at home, and it's not affordable. It's so expensive.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we haven't just got the right, but we spoke to other people and they had the same experience. That there were not so many.
Yes, it wasn't just that one place.
Wasn't just
we're talking with
one.
Swedish people, and they said they don't like so much to go to a restaurant.
No.
They invite people to their home.
Yeah,
together.
Yeah,
so it's more common.
It's a different culture. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yes. So you learn something about every country.
You do.
Whenever you go there.
Yeah.
And the further, the deeper you are into the living there, the better. If you're at a hotel or something, I think that's
you're in
not
your own little world still, aren't you? Yeah. No, and it shows you because you get so used to your own way of living, you think, well, that's the only way to exist. And then when you go to other countries, you think, gosh, this is completely different.
Yeah. And you can also live there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a change. It's a nice change, and you can sort of incorporate things into your own life. Ways of doing things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whereas when I was in America, I had.
Okay, I think.
Right. Oh.
Right. A big moment.
Right. Yes. Have a look. Oh yes, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Very good. Yeah. Oh, I've not been captured in oils before.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Oh, I'll take a picture.
Yeah, sure.
Take a picture of you too.
Okay, good.
Up there, yeah.
One on each side?
Yes, you could do.
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. Very good. Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks.